Good morning. Today's story is the story of David and Goliath. The people of Israel loved peace. And for many years, they lived peacefully with their neighbors. But a few years after David was named to be the future king of Israel, some very wicked people, the Philistines, came and made war against the Israelites. Now the Israelites were farmers and shepherds, and they didn't know how to fight. They didn't even have weapons. But the Philistines loved to fight. They wore armor, and they carried shields and swords and spears. And they had a very special soldier whose name was Goliath. Goliath was a giant, and he wore heavy armor from head to toe. And his sword was twice as long as everyone else's. Now every day, Goliath would come to the valley between the Philistines and the Israelites, and he would bellow in his giant, terrifying voice, "Give me a man to fight with me, and if he wins, the Philistines will be slaves to the Israelites. But if I win, the Israelites will be slaves to the Philistines." Well, no one wanted to fight Goliath. But one day, David's father sent him to the battlefield to check on his brothers and bring them a gift. And that day, like every day, Goliath came out and he said, "Give me someone that I may fight with him." But no one came forward. And finally David said, "I will fight this Philistine." And the Israelites said, "Oh, David, you are just a boy. You cannot fight this giant." But David insisted. So the king of Israel gave David armor and a sword to protect him from Goliath. But when David put those on, he could barely move, and he said, "I'm not used to armor." So David went to fight Goliath with just his slingshot and 5 smooth stones. Now, when Goliath saw David, he laughed. He said, "What is this? You send a child to fight me?" But David walked right up to Goliath and he said, "Today the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you down." And before Goliath could even pull his sword, David loaded a pebble into his slingshot and flung it at the giant, and it hit him right in the head, and he fell to the ground. And that day, David killed Goliath with Goliath's own sword. Now I wonder how it felt for David to be so small and up against something so large and terrifying. I wonder what Goliath thought when he saw this small, brave boy come to fight him. I wonder what David meant when he said the Lord would help him. I wonder if the Lord helps us today. I wonder if you have ever felt very small and up against something very big. Now, if you would like to read this in your own Bible, you can find it in the first book of Samuel, chapter 17, verses 1 to 54.